Seth Littrell the saboteur? Did he really come back to Norman, become offensive coordinator with the intentions of imploding the OU football program from within so that his best buddy in the whole wide world, Josh Heupel, could come riding in on his white horse and deliver the Sooners' next national championship? Oh, now that's quite the story. We got to talk about that. Good morning, and welcome back to Rise and Shine College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. I'm here with my co-host in the mornings, Big Mike Boganowski. If you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame college football. What's up, big dog? What you doing, man?
Man, listen, man. We're talking about you're about to dive into the conspiracy theory. I'm going to continue with one of my own real quick. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even get your notifications anymore,
dude. I'm telling you, you're not even getting notifications now.
No,
You a bitch.
Twitter will notify me, but yeah, it's crazy.
It's killing me too. But I mean, and I'll tell you, I still see it. Here's the other thing. It's not just, I mean, I had a packet full of stuff that was going on. What's up there, Sooner Freak? Good to see you, man. I had a packet of goods showing them that there's no two other ways around it because my click-through rate is the same as it's been for a while. I'm not getting worse at this stuff as far as like how to optimize your content and all that kind of stuff so that it does get surfaced onto the, platform and everything.
Yeah.
Do a pretty good job with the thumbnails, I think, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm doing all the things that you're supposed to do. I pay for all kinds of AI and different shit like that that's supposed to help it get there. There's no way. Well, they said that, nah, it's just because blah, blah, blah. It's just all bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Well, then I start looking again at analytics the other day, and yeah, they've only shown my channel. Actually, they've shown my channel to 50% fewer people than last month.
I'm trying to tell you, dude. I don't understand how
it's not a conspiracy. It's just a flat out fact.
No, I know, but it's crazy to me how it just never works. But like for somebody like T Boomer says he gets everything and like all that stuff. So I mean, so Boomer, when you get on there and you hop on YouTube right now, does this live stream right now, is it at the top of your feed? Can you see it? Because that's why I have to physically go search for it and like refresh. I'll refresh, and it never pops up. Stuff I'm not even subscribed to pops up. You know what I mean? Up at the top of my YouTube timeline, which is crazy to me.
Well, and I mean, there's some different things that I've been reading about and stuff like that. But I did a bunch of beta testing on my own just to check and see kind of from different spots, all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't working at all. That was part of the stuff that I sent off to him. It's been working better. One of the guys that was saying the same thing you've been saying, our guy, he was in here last night, was Cherry Bear. He said that it was like that for him for a few months, and then now it's come back around as well. So I think maybe it's still happening some. I'm hoping it's headed the other direction at least. I'm going to keep on giving them shit about it until then. But we are now on Rumble as well. We're now streaming to Rumble right now as we speak. I don't know that really matters. But, You can monetize with that. You don't even need a bunch of subscribers. I don't have any. So maybe, I don't know, man. Maybe we'll get it at the forefront. I think eventually we're gonna have to figure this one out and all that kind of stuff. But right now, I'm pulling my hair out about it. I gotta just focus on something other than that shit because it drives me nuts.
Crazy, bro. It's BS. There's no reason. It ain't like you're out here spreading misinformation about COVID vaccines or something. You know what I mean? Crazy.
Yeah, listen, man. I stay out of the politics. I
Yeah,
stay out of the
it's
politics
crazy.
shit, man.
It's crazy.
I don't do any of that stuff.
Unless somebody up in YouTube's a Texas fan or something. I don't know.
Probably somebody you ban mass report in your channel. Yeah, and I was thinking it was that. It could be, it could be the old, there's some wildcats in there that are really loyal to the old Twins over there and took real offense to pretty much a nothing situation. So it could have been them. Could be that dipshit, the outlaw of college football. I don't know. I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? But I haven't broken any rules as far as YouTube is concerned for them to act because they won't actually tell you what's going on. So it could be anything. It is what it is, man. I'm not tripping on it, but
Nice.
hey, what's up there, Greg Ray? Good to see you. Zofix, T Boomer, good to see you. Ken Sterling, Sooner Freak, Trojan Baseball. Good to see everybody in here. Hope everybody enjoys the show. Listen, we're going to talk a little bit about some of this stuff, the Seth Littrell sabotage conspiracy. Now, obviously, Josh Heupel chose to make him he's just an analyst, but I think he did that so that he gets the rest of his money for his buyout or whatever, for getting fired. That's the same kind of deal that they were doing with the old boy from Clemson.
Good.
Yeah. So, but I do think that I guess the question is does this conspiracy have any kind of legs to it? I mean, a lot of things have gone around in the last year. It's kind of funny. The things that I have to tell you guys, I didn't even realize how many little things that I just either cut and copied from here, seeing it on, wherever I was getting it. Different people, some people, you trust what they're saying. Some people you're like, yeah, okay. But there was a lot of shit going around. And how much of it I actually kind of recorded and stuck in this little file is just wild. Some of the information is certainly more reliable than others, I would think. But I think that by the time I'm finished here kind of talking about some of this, I think you'll see that in totality, it kind of lends credence to what you're hearing. Not necessarily that he was trying to sabotage or whatever the hell, but that shit wasn't going good. Shit wasn't going good in a lot of ways, right? I do want to make it clear that I cannot confirm almost any of this shit, and the stuff that I can't really confirm it because I'm not going to burn a source or anything like that. There is some stuff I know happened, quite a bit of it. I'm not going to burn a source doing it, and it's never been publicly by the program has not been confirmed or denied or any of that kind of shit. They keep stuff in house pretty well. Do I think some of it's factual? Well, I mean, some of the people that talk to us about it believe that it is. I think more than anything, it's kind of a fun exercise, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The stories, there's reports, rumors, they came from umpteen different people or umpteen different places, umpteen different faces, but they all kind of go down the same road. So I don't think that even if the entirety of the story, I mean, I'm sure you know how people are embellishing things here and there, probably getting some shit in there, but I don't know how far from the truth that a lot of it is all I'm getting at. But I do want to preface it with the disclaimer that I'm not going to verify any of this stuff, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is all the God's honest truth. It isn't. I don't know how much of it's completely real, how much of it's bullshit. Let's just put it to you this way. Like they do with the Hollywood trailer, this one, the following story is based on real events. Let's just do it that way. You know what I mean? Just based on real events. I don't know. I'll let you kind of coming into it. I mean, was there a point that you were kind of wondering though, like, what the fuck, dude? You expected it to kind of flip at some point, and then when it didn't, you're just like, I mean, this is not what you expect of Oklahoma.
Well, Yeah, that's a fact. I didn't expect that. And some of the game plans I did not like. It just
Right.
didn't. I couldn't believe that it was that bad, right? Especially after you watch, you know, the pregame uh, Oklahoma breakdown. You know what I
Yep.
mean with Gabe and Teddy,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Do not try to block these dudes with tight ends. Do not do this. Do not do that." And
I,
then you go to the game, and they're doing exactly what they advise not to do. And I'm just
and I
like,
mean,
"This is
they're not coaching; they don't coach. You know
that's
what I
what I'm
mean?
saying."
They're
That's,
players.
that's, that's all, and I'm just like, these dudes. I was just like, this, but never. I just thought it was inept, right? Like I didn't think he was cut out for it just by watching it, right? And like you're running counter plays, but you're not running the base play that you counter off of, right? So
Sure,
they're just like skipping a
absolutely.
step with the defense, and Texas was blowing that shit up when we were trying to do that little counter play.
It
And
took too fucking long, and you can't run
yeah,
a counter play running a
well,
zone block. You know what I mean? It's just not something that you
it
even
just
try.
but nowhere ever did it ever cross my mind that it could be an inside job.
Yeah.
Never.
Well,
Until last
it
night.
may not be.
Until last night.
Here's what I'll tell you. Why did they? I guess one of the questions that I kind of went back to this at some point during the year, and it was like, okay, so why did they fire him at North Texas? North Texas isn't a place that they're going to win, 10 games a year. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you can't really expect for them. I mean, you shouldn't expect them to do it. But here's something that I started looking through some of that, during the season. But some of the reasons for their firing, they had lost. He got beat after UNT lost 48, or he got dismissed after UNT got beat 48-27 by UTSA in 2022 in the CUSA championship game. Now he had inconsistent success, but his record was, I think he was 44-44 overall. Um, 7-6 in his final season. He had a couple of strong seasons that he beat Arkansas one game. Bowl struggles. I think he was 0-5 before he won his last bowl game that he had him in. The fan support was kind of going away. Their defense was always really trash. And they just didn't win a ton of big games. Now, they did move on, they were moving in another direction, but I've heard even worse things coming out of there from people that live around the Denton area, and which is right where North Texas is. It feels like it was one of those deals the administration knew that he just wasn't ever, it didn't seem like it was getting better from year to year. You know what I mean? And you should be building on it at some point. And
Well,
it just wasn't.
what's crazy to me is getting fired after you lose the conference championship. Like that's crazy to me.
Well, I mean, they did get blown out, I guess, but I
I'm
mean,
just saying, but you're there, you're in the conference championship. How
yeah,
often do you hear of a head coach getting fired after losing the conference championship?
facts. That's true.
You know what I mean? That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, well, and that kind of, and T Boomer, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. He said after the way they called the bowl game, to me, they should have never been the OCs at all. Honestly, I don't know that. Well, there was turnovers. There was a lot of stuff that kind of happened during that bowl game that made you wonder, was it about that? Was it about just having a new quarterback? What was it? You know what I mean? Turns out, it was all a shit show. But these are kind of things that you go back and look at it. And, Neilio says it's hard to believe, but back in 19 AD, K-State almost hired him. His demands got to be outlandish, and we backed away from a contract offer. Thank the Lord. Yeah, listen, it's shit, man. Yards per play at 132. Yeah, Ken, it was that bad. The conspiracies that Littrell tried to sabotage BV with his poor offensive play calling and preparation. Yeah, it is. I think that, and I think there's a lot of people that talk about Josh Heupel as if whatever happened in the mess that it was whenever he got fired, which, listen, I understand him feeling upset about it or whatever. The truth is he loves Oklahoma, and I think that he would do anything to get that job. I really do. I think that a lot of people think that that's not the case. I think he would. And whether or not I think that that's really what was going on, I think that it looks like it at least a little bit. And let me just go through a few of the things why. Look, there wasn't any shortage of criticism floating around, leading up to him finally getting the hook. And especially in media circles, on Twitter, they were fucking him up on Twitter from day one. You know what I mean? Before the games ever started, they were giving shit to Littrell on Twitter and in the message boards, things like that. Obviously, there was rumblings behind closed doors and, probably out of the earshot of the fan base at large. But there was, people higher up were talking about this. And one of those people was Brent Venables. He wasn't happy about it. He didn't think that, I think early on, from what you hear, he had during spring practice, during the camp, there were plenty of internal concerns that sluggish, lacked creativity. They didn't love the way that, there wasn't any kind of quick game that they were going to. They even, and I think Bill Bedenbaugh being his brother-in-law, he wasn't able to really, he couldn't even get on board with what he was doing with his blocking schemes. I think that was one of the things that there was headbutting that started really early on. Quarterback development was always a concern. We all know that's not even, rumor stuff. That's a fucking fact. It wasn't there. You know what I mean? It was just wasn't there. But one of the rumors the first rumor I'll pull up that I saw early on, and this was before the season ever started. I remember when they were talking about that Jackson Arnold wasn't doing worth a shit in practices. They weren't scoring. The defense was beating up on them. They just didn't look good. And you're hearing the first rumor that I heard was that Venables allegedly went to Castiglione and expressed serious doubts about his ability to run the offense and wanted to move on and move off of him as the play caller. Castiglione apparently pushed to keep him. He was very hesitant about it. He said that he wanted stability, and he felt like pulling the trigger right before you start your first SEC season wasn't a good look. I don't disagree with that, right? I don't disagree with that. But if he, and I'm not saying he did. I'm telling you that these are just things that are out there, Bob. Relax. We're just having some fun with all this. Just calm down. You didn't hear all that. I don't think anybody heard that. What I did, I had guys,
disclaimer. The banner up.
Disclaimer, buddy. But apparently Joe C told BV that he needed to give Littrell a full season before making a decision like that, and he kind of shut it down. This is just one of the things that's out there. Now, I think there is some real weight behind that rumor that he wanted him gone early. I think there is. The biggest thing, and this is another thing this is one of the ones I believe happened. I've heard it from multiple people that this happened, was that Friday night game plan disaster right before the Tennessee game. They already hadn't looked good against their pre-conference opponents, offensively anyway. And less than 24 hours before kickoff, apparently there was a heated argument between Bill Bedenbaugh and DeMarco Murray outside of one of the meeting rooms. They're talking that, and they were arguing over what blocking scheme was going to be used. Apparently on Friday before your first ever SEC game, they didn't know. And Littrell ends up there. It ended up looking kind of bad. Should have been something that's ironed out long before that. It speaks to a lack of communication among the coaching staff. I think that that's one of the things that's out there a lot. It's not a good look. That also gives credence to, okay, this is right before Tennessee. They didn't look good against Tennessee. I wonder why. You know what I mean? Things like that. Was that a purposeful thing? I'm not saying it was. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right. Players who witnessed the exchange apparently said that Bedenbowl and Murray were clearly furious, and it seemed that Littrell didn't really have a clear plan other than he said that they.
So.
Yeah, this came from players to a source of mine.
So Bedenbowl and DeMarco Murray, were they arguing against each other, or they both arguing like saying Littrell's jacked up?
No, they were under the impression they both thought it was one blocking scheme, and it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
It was they both thought separate blocking schemes. Turns out it was whatever Bedenbowl said, according to Littrell, I think. But to not know that by Friday,
not good.
It's not good.
You went a whole week of practice.
Well, I mean, and you look at what they did offensively. Until Michael Hawkins got in the game, they didn't move the fucking ball. they weren't moving the ball. It is what it is. Now, is that an incompetence, or did he create confusion on purpose? That's the question that people are having, right? I don't know. But obviously there was a lack of adaptability and there was a lot of predictability. I heard this a bunch throughout the SEC that opposing coaches are calling out his play calling for being so simplistic that they knew what was coming immediately. You could see it. It wasn't hard to figure out what they were doing. He wasn't a person that was going to be, he wasn't going to make big adjustments and do a bunch of changing at the half or I mean, kind of,
that was pretty obvious.
Yeah, listen, I can remember when we were at the damn Red River game and shaking our head at the end of it going, what the fuck was that? And just like, I don't get it. Yeah, that was the end of it for me. More tension with Brent. Word around the program suggested that he lost patience very early, especially after that loss to Texas. And then the disaster against South Carolina obviously is what got it done. But it sounded like there might have been a big blow up in the locker room at the Cotton Bowl, or maybe not in the locker room, but behind closed doors anyway between them. I don't know. He was publicly supportive, but inside sources claim that he was furious about how bad this thing was. Just furious about it.
Oh,
and I mean, he looked like somebody was kicking his fucking dog all the time. I don't doubt it. Then this is one of the ones, and I've heard this from multiple different people that I trust that this is the case. And actually, we heard it. We actually heard it from Jackson was kind of talking about this. So during the South Carolina game, after they got Michael Hawkins out of there, which by the way, the idea of, and I'm not believing for 1 second that it was Bill Bedenbowl's decision to use Bauer Sharp against All-American defensive ends. I don't believe it. Not alone anyway. So I don't buy that shit. But once that turned into the debacle it did, and Jackson comes in and, he moved it here and there and stuff. But I remember him talking about that touchdown pass to Brennan Thompson that he said that Thompson had said that he'd seen something in film that if we line up in this set, they're not even going to look at me. I'm just going deep. Hit me deep. And he said they had already run the play one time and he didn't do it. He didn't change it, and he got popped. He ended up running the ball. It was a QB run play of whatever, which I know he was in love with that for whatever reason. And then, of course, after that, he did do it. It's a touchdown, and immediately he's talking to Littrell in the booth, and he's like, "What made you change that play, and why did you?" And like kind of grilling him about it. Then they get in the locker room. Apparently, he went off on him at Jones, telling him, "Tell your fucking wide receivers to run the fucking play I call." Again, I've heard this from a number of people. They hadn't scored a fucking touchdown in 6 quarters at that point. You know what I mean? I think even if you really don't like people changing your plays, you fucking scored, and you hadn't scored in a while. Probably want to leave that one alone. Give them a little love for it. But, the adjustment worked, so it's wild. wild to me. That was he mad because the team finally scored, or without his play call? What are we talking about? I don't get it. There's also this is another one that I feel like this list of them is this part of the list. I feel like most of it's pretty damn close to true. Littrell cutting off quarterback development by keeping guys like Kevin Johns, JP Lossman away from him. He didn't even want Casey, who's in his 7th fucking year of college football, being able to give them any pointers of any kind. In fact, he would tell those guys, apparently, that he didn't want them listening to them, and he would tell those coaches to leave his quarterbacks alone, which is wild.
That's
right?
Crazy.
Wild. Makes no sense. He was never a quarterback. He was never a quarterback coach.
Yeah.
It's just silly. But, and Kevin Johns he's a highly respected quarterback coach and coordinator for that matter.
Uh-huh.
Why would you even bring him in if you weren't going to use him? You know what I mean? In that way. It just doesn't make sense. Anyway.
I thought that was the reason they signed him. They brought him in.
I did too. That was the impression I had. Like I said, and one of the things this was one of the major ones. It was, I don't know which one, but one of the freshman quarterbacks made a comment to one of my guys that I know that, he's a younger cat, that said, I got more development in junior high than I've had since I got to Norman as a quarterback.
Fuck. That's terrible.
That's real good, right? Again, multiple sources have hinted all season that he had little to no communication with his offensive assistants and less than involved dictating who was going to play at each position. Most of the coaches felt like they were ignored. They had no real input on game planning, adjustments, any of that stuff. One assistant was allegedly so fed up with Littrell's dismissiveness that he stopped attending meetings unless directly asked to be there. Which that rumor kind of threw me for a loop. I wasn't sure they were having them. So, there's been people that have said that him and Joe John got into it quite a bit. He wasn't listening to anything Joe John said. And I think it turned into a bit of a pissing match at some point. I'm not blaming Joe John for any of that. I'm saying if he's trying to make some adjustments and do some things like that, you can see where, shit ain't working. I mean, why aren't you listening to anything I say? You know what I mean? You're not working. It's not working. In the end, I think it became pressure from the boosters and donors that probably got him out of there. They were loudly calling for a change even before he was officially fired. I forget who was telling me, but somebody said that there were quite a few high-profile alumni that were told Venables and Joe C. that if you keep this guy, you're killing recruiting. There's no way you get an offense next year with this guy. You're going to kill it. So, is that a sabotage? I don't know, man. I think that there's some things that there's some stuff that I haven't put in this list of stuff that, it's just a lot of hearsay and, where maybe he didn't respond to people questioning him the way they wanted, shrugging shoulders, stuff like that. Like he just didn't give a shit, really indifferent to whether he stayed on or not. I remember him being on that coach's show, pregame coach's show after BVU one time, talking to Lehman and Eichert. And, he was upbeat. It seemed like he was way too fucking upbeat for me. You know what I mean? For them to be, and that was off the Texas loss. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to me. I don't know.
I mean, that's a lot of stuff, man. And I have.
It all kind of goes in the same direction. That's the thing. You can have different stories, but it's
I have no clue, but just listen to some of that stuff. I could buy that easily, dude. I ain't gonna lie to you. Just off the shit that I saw, like offensively, like it blew my mind, man. Like
yeah.
I feel like we talked about it like every Monday.
Schematically, it looked even schematically.
We talked about it every Monday, man. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was actually crazy. But I mean, like, if we're all right, man, here we go. I'm all in on this, right? So if
Yeah.
we're okay, so your initial statements was it was an inside job with Littrell sabotaging, right, to get Brent Venables fired to eventually get his boy Josh Heupel the head coaching position, right?
Yeah.
So I'm taking it a step further. And like this is there's no facts behind this. This is just a conspiracy theory that I just thought about last night when Jason was telling me this stuff. How deep does it go in Oklahoma, right? Because from what I heard and what we've talked about before, is it sounds like they pretty much made BV hire Seth Littrell.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that that's the case too.
And so who's in on it, man? Who's part of the
Oh,
plot?
well, that's
Part
the next that's one of the questions I have for you is like, okay, let's just playing the
who
game and
how
assuming
deep
there
does
is
it
one.
go?
Let's just assuming there is a conspiracy to make this happen. Because we all know that there's different sides of there's different factions within the alumni base. You know that. You know,
Mhm,
you've got old money, you've got new money. They're
mhm.
never on the fucking same page about anything ever. They weren't on the same page about Lincoln Riley, any of that kind of shit. You know, there was some things that were, listen, I love Bob Stoops to death. They kind of kept their thumb on Lincoln. You know what I mean? And now we look back at it and you say, okay, well, rightfully so. You know what I mean? He was brand new at it. I can see part of it. But there were some things that it felt like you allowed him to do some shit that you shouldn't have never let him do. And then you didn't kind of step in on some other things. It was just weird. But in the end, there's always going to be different sides of it. So that's a good question. Who is it? Probably the younger crew of people that say, hey, man, I just don't like this cat. I don't think he's meant to be a head coach. And you know how it is. There's a lot of dudes out there that'll give you that statement. They won't back it up with anything. They'll just say, I don't think he's a head coach. He's, you know, there's a learning curve to it. We all know that. But there's no context to it. They're just going to say that. And look, you can look at what Josh has done. He did a great job at UCF. He did a great job. He's done a really good job at Tennessee, considering what he walked into when he got there. The truth is, Tennessee's a bit of a shit show sometimes. Not sometimes. It's been that way since freaking Peyton and what's his name left. You know, that national championship, it all went downhill after that. All went downhill after that. So, you know, we've seen a lot of crazy shit. You know, a lot of crazy shit at Tennessee since then. Look at all the stuff with, you know, I still remember going back to Lane Kiffin when he left and the way they were ready to get his ass for leaving.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They were worried about his safety. They were worried about his safety whenever he was packing his shit. And, you know, it is what it is. But, and I'm not trying to diss Tennessee, not too much anyway. Hopefully they'll watch this a little bit. You know what I mean? Give us some more shit. In the end, I think that if you just look at it being serious, and there's a lot of people out there in Tennessee that believe that he would absolutely go back to Oklahoma. I don't think that he would probably leave Tennessee for many other jobs aside from Oklahoma. Unless it's like Alabama or something. You know what I mean? There's going to be some, right? You know what I mean? But it is, but OU is, he loves OU.
I mean, he played there. I mean, it's obvious. I mean,
This
that's
is
not
a good comment right here. Mackey was talking about Littrell knows how to fix this because these are simple fixes, and he was teammates with him. I know he knows these concepts. This is more of what you hear from places that's like, okay, why? And I mean, come on, if he doesn't know how to fix these and these little simple concepts that we're talking about in the air raid, which is not the most difficult offense in the world to understand, it's not. You know what I mean? And if you can't do that, why the fuck would you hire him at Tennessee, buddy or not?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Professional development.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Possibly.
Look at Bob, right? Look, Bob at 2 minutes ago.
Do what?
Go to Bob.
What did Bob say? An inside job on OU football. Why would anybody inside the family want that? If they really don't believe in Brent Venables and they want to go ahead and get the plug pulled,
Bro, if they want Josh Heupel as the coach, that's
and if
why.
they want Josh, listen,
That's why.
I agree.
We already covered this, bro.
I'll tell you this: there's some people that were fine with Josh leaving whenever he got fired. They were on the side of that, and I'll tell you that there was here's the real deal on that. That was the year that BV went to Clemson because Mike Stoops came back. He wanted him to be co-DCs again, and Venables was like, "Fuck no." He ends up at Clemson, and then Mike he wanted them to change the offense to much more of a run heavy. Heupel had always been an air raid guy, and he changed the offense. They still averaged in the 30s. They were fine. Their defense was shitty, and Hype got the blame for it.
Yeah,
that's my take on it. Hype got the blame for it. The truth is, though, I think it was probably the best thing that could have happened to him. He went some other places, learned from some other folks, did some great things on his own, and he's done it on his own, right? Now, an inside job on OU football, what do you think Lincoln did? Like Josh Heupel, but the comment he made about letting up on OU was ridiculous. That comment was just to try to make him look good. I think he was trying to save face for his quarterback who was getting his ass handed to him. I think he was trying to keep his confidence up.
Yeah,
right?
He was just trying to get out of there with a dub. He knew we weren't really scoring and they had a lead. So let's just run the ball. Let's bleed this clock and not turn it over anymore and get out of here with the dub.
Facts.
Because there was a little bit of a momentum swing.
Sure.
When Michael Hawkins came in, like I don't know if you guys could see it.
When he scored that first touchdown, I mean, he should have. I thought that he got in right before that anyway. But you got the helicopter move. He's running into two defenders that are monsters on the goal line.
Yeah,
bro.
Well, yeah, that was smart coaching. That was smart coaching, in my opinion.
Yeah. Hey, man, they used to be Noid. I don't know who you are, but yeah, they used to be. They had people questioning all offensive coaches. I'm choosing to believe this anyway because it explains how all the offensive coaches forgot how to scheme all of a sudden. Well, I don't think they did. I don't think that he wanted to hear any of their input. And listen, I've heard from different places that's I don't even think you don't have to have heard shit. All you had to do is look. Just pay attention. Just look at it. All of a sudden, Emmett Jones, one of the best receiver coaches in the country, you can talk. There's a short list of people if you're talking about better ones. All of a sudden, he just forgot. I mean, think about it. The first year that BV was here, and they ended when Kel got fired, he was the receiver coach. They brought in that analyst who wasn't ready for that gig. The receivers suffered for it, other than Marvin Mims, pretty much. What needed to happen? They went and got Emmett Jones. Immediately it flips. So all of a sudden he just forgot? Come on. Bill Bedenbaugh, the king of air raid offensive line guys, if not the best just period in the country, all of a sudden he doesn't know what the hell he's doing? Doesn't know how to scheme? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I don't buy it. Now, the DeMarco stuff, I don't know. We saw the issues with the only thing that I had was him. Sometimes I don't understand his substitution patterns. That doesn't mean I think he's a terrible coach. And in fact, if you listen to his running backs, they don't think he is. The ones that have played for him and do play for him, they all love it. So I'm not just going to sit here and say that, yeah, the entire staff sucked. No, no, I don't think that's the case. I don't even know. I mean, I've backed a lot off of Joe John. The more I've thought about the season, I don't know how do you flip it in the middle of the season when it's gotten that bad already? It's tough. And the injuries on top of it. Let's not forget about that part too.
Yeah.
This
I
is what
don't.
it is.
So go up to that Bob one right above that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't necessarily think Joe C was part of it.
I didn't
Him,
say that he's a part of that part of it. No, that's not what we're saying. No. I don't even know that any of this shit is true, Bob. What I'm
no, but
telling you is
we're spitballing here, dude.
we're just talking.
Yeah.
But look, his dad was a national champion, Seth Littrell, at Oklahoma. Seth was a national champion at Oklahoma. Listen, there's some people that would want to try to make that happen just for that reason. I know right now there's a large portion of the fan base that wants no former Sooners here on the staff. And I understand that because somebody said something about if DeMarco took that job at Penn State that we should go after AD. I was like, good God, no. And not because I don't think AD would do a good job. I don't think he coaches. But I do not want to see the shit that AD would take for doing that job. I don't. Is what it is. No, all of this it's not just rumors, it's stuff that we were hearing. Some of it, I don't know how accurate the entirety of it is. Right? I don't know how accurate the entirety of it is. But all of it doesn't sound, I mean, some people are going to embellish on what you hear. I'm just telling you the notebook that I had of stuff that you hear throughout the year and what was going on. And I had more shit than I didn't even say everything that I had. Now, was he just bad at his job? That's possible. That could be one. That's a theory that he could just be that shitty at what he's doing.
That's my like if I had to pick one, like that's it.
He got overwhelmed. He's stuck in his ways. Once he got overwhelmed with what was going on, maybe he's one of those guys that now I have to take it all on myself because it's all on me. I've heard that one too. But if he was, I mean, look, he has long-standing ties to Hype too. Here's the thing. They were in each other's weddings. Best man at each other's weddings. They played on the same championship football team. If he wasn't a fan of BV or whatever, I don't know. Listen, and again, if there was a conspiracy like that, it wouldn't just end with there at that point. And that doesn't even necessarily mean that Hype had anything to do with it. That could be coming from, how some of these damn boosters are. They want their way. They want their way. Period. End of story. They think they know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. This is how they want it. And look, Heupel's done a great job. I understand it. But this ain't the way to go about it. Officially, while the official reasons that they gave for his firing were poor performance, lack of consistency, the real story was that his offense, outdated, predictable, uninspiring. He didn't have the trust of the players or the staff. He had to go, right? He had to go. I don't think that he showed a ton of effort. His play calling and game management it just didn't look good. I can understand why people would think it. I really can. I'm not saying that I do. I'm saying I could get it. Now, BV took public responsibility for making the bad hire. Publicly, he said it over and over again. I love him for it. And some say privately that he's been even more pointed to that, saying things like, we were never going to win with that guy calling the offense. But now that I know that everything that's been thrown out there, and I've thrown all that stuff out there for a reason, and I'll remind you again, none of it's completely confirmed. I believe in some of the things that I hear. Some of the stuff you got to take it with a grain of salt because people just talk. The wide receiver injuries had to have been a part of it. You got double-digit O-line combinations throughout the year. There was a lot of shit that conspired to go badly on that side of the ball. But you could look at it and know that it was not good. The scheming wasn't good either. It just wasn't. Because it's not like they recruited a bunch of fucking bums behind them. And we've seen freshmen do great jobs before. I shudder to think, but here's where I'm at too. Let's say that they didn't have that many of those guys go down from the receiving corps. I've heard people talk about this a lot. What if the O-line wasn't completely coming apart at the seams by the time it was all over with? They win 2-3 more games. Let's say they win the South Carolina game. They're a little more competitive at Texas. They just beat Auburn. Maybe they're just good enough that Seth keeps his fucking job. And I shudder to think what a year or two under this man would look like.
Yeah.
I just do. Look,
Yeah.
So maybe the best way to look at 2024 and Seth Littrell isn't with an eye towards attempted sabotage. Maybe it was divine intervention. Maybe this shit was divine intervention, only disguised as the world's most perfect clusterfuck. Man, you know what I mean?
Accurate.
I don't know.
Hey, OU Revenge Tour. Like I said, and like we said multiple times, this is us just having some fun here. You know what I mean?
Let me go back to what I said to start with. I started a notebook of things all the way back in the spring following what we saw in that bowl game in 2023. When as a reporter, you hear things, you write it down, right? Because you would be surprised at some of the stuff you'll forget. So you write it down. I always have a file for certain people. Coordinators are definitely going to be one of them. I have files on pretty much every coordinator Oklahoma played against this past year. Had them for the entirety of the Big 12. You keep little notes. This is part of what being like a beat writer. That's what I would do as a beat writer. So it's just habit. I keep little notes. Now, some of it you're thinking, okay, well, I can verify this later on down the line. Some of this shit isn't verifiable because nobody's gonna fucking say it out loud and put their name behind it to where, it causes shit. It causes shit. But it's easy to say it and not put your name behind it.
Like, here's the thing.
Make it less true necessarily.
If this was like a Jason Watkins expose with verified sources and concrete evidence, this guy would not be on this show right now. All right. Like I would not be on this show.
I would have told you, no, you can't come on.
Yeah, I wouldn't be on it. Like we're just having fun and messing around because we all kind of know.
Guys, it's about Seth is gone. And and on top of that, I'm saying part of it is that it's almost funny to think about that he would actually do some shit like that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that some of it doesn't lend itself.
Some of it has legs, sure.
Yeah.
Some of it has legs. And, there's another reason I'm on here, like I said before, bro. I love me a good conspiracy, man. Love me a good conspiracy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think, like somebody said earlier, there's a little smoke, there's fire. I mean, don't get me wrong. I definitely think some of this shit is true because it's just hard to believe that.
Well, you hear it enough times. And look, guys, I didn't even give you it all. Some of it is like, what? And even some of it is coming from people that I trust and believe in, but I just don't want to put that out there. Because I don't necessarily believe that part, whatever, you know what I mean? There's a lot of shit though. But all of it, listen, some of it seems more outlandish than other things. None of it is completely out of whack with what we saw on the field.
Let's talk about how Littrell became the OC, the offensive coordinator, right? Because I think that kind of gives some credence to what we're talking about.
Okay, I want to ask you this question. We've heard recently, right, since the Kevin Wilson hire, that year 2, when they went 10-3, that Matt Wells was, moonlighting as and mind you, this is before they changed that. I love that part. before they changed the rule about coaching as a consultant or whatever, an analyst. But he was taking over head coaching duties when BV was over coaching up the defense after they come off the field or whatever. If that's the case, that's who he trusted to do that, not Seth Littrell. Why the fuck did he hire Seth Littrell? It doesn't even make. And Matt Wells is one of the most respected offensive guys in the country, period, without a doubt. In fact, he didn't lose his job at Tech because he wasn't winning. He was winning. Won 8 and 7 games, I think. Whatever was going on there was something going on personally between him and Kirby Hockett, is what it sounds like to me. I don't know what it was. Don't care. Point is, he didn't lose that job because he was like a lot of Texas Tech coaches because he was getting the shit kicked out of him. That wasn't the case. And he'd been around BV some. I don't know how much Seth, I don't think they'd ever coached together. I know he was, part of the team whenever they won the Natty. Again, it doesn't make sense to me why, if you trusted Matt to take over to be the head coach and be the guy in your ear, help you with game management, stuff like that, why would you go with Littrell? I don't understand it. Chrissy, run along, clown. Penn State clown. Shit. There's not going to be an excuse if they go 5 and 7, but you don't know shit.
I mean, these aren't excuses. Like, everything that we talk about happened. You know what I mean? The injuries at wide receiver happened.
About the offense? What other coaches thought? They knew what was coming. They knew what was coming.
We turned the ball over. That happened. Our offensive play calling was terrible. That happened. Like, that ain't excuses. This is what we call learning from lessons, right? And we're trying to not have these same mistakes. And these aren't excuses. These are just a conversation of why shit went bad.
Actual. We're not talking about.
Yeah.
It's easy. And look, again, I don't know why he would have made the hire, why he wouldn't. Look, maybe. And you know what? We do know that there's certain people that want to know. What did other coaches think of their offense? I said that early on, that it was laughable to them. They could pick out what was going on. And I mean, hell, it's not hard to see that they knew what was coming.
It was basic bitch, in my opinion.
It wasn't, but a lot of it wasn't even like good schematically. That
it was,
like you running a counter with zone blocking. That's not when you're up against SEC talent, man. You're pushing around some little, weak ass D lineman from Tech, whatever. Okay. Maybe not Tech. I don't know. Whoever. Look, it was bad. We know that it was bad. And it was also bad because of injuries and some other stuff too, but you can see the scheme. All you got to do is watch the film. What about Littrell crying to Jay's mom or whoever after the bowl game? He said he seemed emotionally involved, but at the same time, he also seems about as emotional as a flower pot. I love it. Who had to have Littrell in the first place? See, I don't know, man. I think it was definitely a loyalty hire. Mm-hmm. Because of the embarrassment caused by Riley. But okay, because he's an Oklahoma guy. Well, but look at how many people are saying, no, we don't need to do that shit anymore. Mm-hmm. Hey, look at this. Noid's talking. Hey, you're talking some truth here. If there were signs from the spring practices into summer workouts and then fall, upset with insiders who never brought this up outside the Hawkins looking better in fall camp noise.
Let me tell you something. I
don't know.
Let me tell you something. If the offense that we saw in the spring game would have showed up in the fall, I don't think we have this conversation because I was actually liking what I saw in the spring game. Some deep shots, throwing the ball, some RPOs. We were running the ball. I'm like, we were just like, we did not throw deep balls like at all. Like we weren't passing the ball like further than 12, 10 yards down the field. You know what I mean? Like that was just that was a, I don't know, man. I feel like if we'd have seen some of that offense that we saw in the spring game, like we'd have been all right.
But you have to make adjustments. I mean, if you're tipping your hand, which, I mean, that was one of the things that I heard a lot from around the SEC was that these coaches were like, yeah, they ain't.
Listen, and here's the reason why we could throw the ball deep in the spring game is because Jackson knew he wasn't finna get popped in the mouth.
That's right.
So he knew he could just sit back there and not have to worry about getting blindsided and let loose a 50-yarder.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And he didn't worry about throwing Bauer into fucking train wrecks.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's just what I'm saying. That's why the shit didn't translate over, man.
Absolutely.
The fall.
Absolutely. Because they don't get to, the blue jersey comes off. It's all the same color now.
Yeah.
That's what we're fucking talking about, bro. That's what we're talking about. You come in here running your mouth, and that's exactly what we were talking about there, Chris. I even heard that Littrell didn't address the players during the Texas game at halftime. Yeah, I've heard lots of stuff like that. Look, I've heard that some players on that offense, if they weren't starters, never spoke to him one time. He didn't have a conversation with them.
My biggest takeaway from the Cotton Bowl was
bad.
The Cotton Bowl logistical experience that was terrible. Like trying to get in the Cotton Bowl was ridiculous. Like that was
Man. It's getting harder and harder to like going to that game.
And running out of water after the first quarter, terrible.
Yeah, bro. And especially when your team's playing like hammered hell. We'd have just went to beer and said, fuck it. You know what I mean? If they were winning, if they're playing well, you just go to beer and move along.
Yep.
But yeah, it was a shit show all the way around. And I'm telling you, the last 3 times I've been there, it's been progressively worse as far as it's tough parking. I mean, you're in a bad neighborhood. You see why we say no night games. We ain't doing night games around there. You know what I mean? You don't want to do that. But yeah, man. And it's like they've got 2 areas that you can go into the stadium. It's like fucking herding cattle in there. It was a bitch.
Terrible, bro. It was terrible. I've never seen anything like it, dude. It was terrible. Like I shared that picture of the just sea of people. Like it was trying to get in this one gate. It was crazy, dude.
Jordan? Yeah. Yeah. You didn't recognize me with all that? Yeah. Miss you too. Good to see you. He had 2 weeks to game plan. No shit. That's the other thing. I mean, you got 2 weeks and that's the game plan he came up with. Look, you can say what you want to say. I don't know how you can take up for Seth Littrell in this instance. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I think that he was definitely trying to do whatever. I understand that. And Goated, you said something pretty smart a minute ago. I think that Josh knows what it feels like to get scapegoated because he did get scapegoated over what happened with that defense that year. No doubt about it. Got fired for it. Now, I do believe that it was probably the best thing that could have happened for him. Although maybe not. I mean, if he gets the job instead of Lincoln at that time. But I think he needed to go other places and learn from different people too. I think you have to become rounded. I do. Learn something from somewhere else. I think it helped BV to go and learn, even though, I think Dabo's a hell of a coach. I think that he's a little rigid in certain places and I'm not a huge fan of him, but I think that he learned some good things going and coaching over there, right? That he learned great things from Stoops. I think he's also learned some great things the other place. It opened up recruiting pipelines that he's definitely a better recruiter than he used to be. Yeah, you got to get there way the hell early. And at that point, even then, I mean, but then you're sitting out there in the fucking
Dude,
heat. It's hot,
I
man.
I don't remember what time the game started, but
Mhm.
I was in line probably an hour and a half before the game started and barely got in for kickoff.
Right. Yeah, dude. I honestly, I came in right after you, and I was way later than that.
So listen, so the players showed up, you know what I mean? I watched all that, did all that, walked and started walking toward the gate. And the players get there about 2 hours. But I mean, like you couldn't even tell like where the line from the gate started because it was just a mass of people. And luckily I did what I do and got skinny on their ass and started dipping and weaving in between people and got up in there like I was out.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know, passport. I'm sold. Littrell was a plant. It makes sense. The confidence. Hey, man. I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? And look, again, guys, this is a fun little exercise to kind of go back through. And I mean, shit, we ain't got a ton of stuff to talk about. We could bitch more about this stupid playoff and the way that they're wanting to like completely do all that. But I'd rather talk about OU in the morning time on this show and stuff like that anyway. And I do believe that you have to, in the end, like I said, maybe it was divine intervention that was just, kind of disguised as the most perfect clusterfuck ever. Because if they win 8, you think he loses his job? If they let's say they lose the Texas game, but they beat South Carolina. They already beat, now they're 2-2. They're not completely out of it. He doesn't get fired that day. You know what I mean? So even though it was sucky for us watching it, we got Ben Arbuckle out of it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Ben Arbuckle's a one and done dude, man. He's still way young. Way young. Now, could he go coach at a smaller school? Oh, yeah. And maybe they do give it to him. But I think you would have to win more than just 8 or 9 games to do that. I mean, you're not coming after a coordinator that, they won 8 or 9 games to go be a head coach right away. That means that they've done something damn good. As far as Kevin Wilson goes, I don't think he's going to ever be the offensive coordinator. I think he brought him in to help, probably for more of like what we're talking about with Matt Wells, help him with being a better head coach. Also, it's a good person to have. He one of the guys that knows the air raid better than anybody else. He did a great job when he was at Ohio State. He knows what he's doing with offense. I think that's a good sounding board to have if you're Ben Arbuckle. That's my belief. I still don't believe that he'll ever be offensive coordinator at Oklahoma again. There's other dudes out there. Fuck Littrell's brand. Divine intervention that he got fired the same way folks had to see. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to read that last part. But I don't disagree. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. I think that in the end, you kind of have to. I think you do have to look at it as at least somewhat that you did get a blessing. You didn't want to. I shudder to think what year 2 under that dude would have been on that offense. Because who the fuck would still be there?
Yeah.
Who would still be there? Coaches, even. Who's going to be there? Whew. Talk about falling off a fucking cliff. Offensively, just drive up to the edge and just done.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I think it's smart. I think it's a smart combination, man. I really do. I think it is. I think that when it comes to, I think Buckle is, well, and I mean, the dude's been killing it. I've been watching more. I've been going back and watching more of this. Dude, John Mateer looks really good. Now he'll throw the ball. He's kind of a little bit of a Brett Favre type that's going to try to fit some balls in and maybe throw some balls that you shouldn't. You're going to get a few interceptions here and there, but it doesn't scare him from doing it anymore. Unlike somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like Mateer, man. I like what I've seen from him. He anticipates, which is something we didn't have last year. With JA. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I really am. I think he's going to be pretty good. But like I said, I'm not going to pump too much. Just going to let it play out.
Would we have either JA or Hawk if Seth was still there? I don't think so.
Bro, I'm going to tell you, it'd be rough.
I don't think so. I think the entire receiver core would be gone too. I mean, they're gone anyway. But
I would say we would still have Mike. I would say he'd still be there.
Well, the defensive side is not what we're talking about. You know what I mean? We're talking about offense. What are you going to have? You know what I mean? Depends on which coaches even hang around. That's the other question, man. Which one? I mean, he's screaming at freaking EJ to tell his receivers, to run the fucking play that's called. What? Got a touchdown. What's up there, Shouty? Yeah, I'm not. That dude's a competitor, bro. He's a competitor. I'm telling you, man, he's gonna make it hard on Mateer in the fall. And I'm not saying he's gonna be the starter. But I think that when his time comes, whether it's by injury or it's just his time, this is not a dude that's worried about that. His brother's there too. I think it means something to that family to be at Oklahoma playing together. So we'll see. 9 of 11, 3 and outs blew my mind. Yeah, game 1 against fucking Temple. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 9 out of 11, 3 and outs in what? Are you talking the Texas game? It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. I think they had 11 3 and outs in that game.
Yeah.
Texas got what, 3 or 4 extra possessions just because you're not staying on the field. Yeah, Mike's a bad dude. He's gonna look, man. I've said this before. I'll just go ahead and say it again. He'll be in New York before it's all said and done. As a Heisman finalist, he will. We'll see what happens, but I see it. I see it. Hey, Kimberly K, good to see you. He would need to leave if he can't start in 26. Not if he gets his redshirt year this year. He doesn't. Why not? Here's the thing. I think you have to go. I'm kind of from the old Bill Walsh school. You need to get quarterbacks every year, no matter what, because you don't know. And of all people, we should know as Oklahoma fans, when Dylan went down that first year, what did you have behind him? Now, I think that Nick Evers was better than Levy gave him credit for. You can see the ball came off of his hand different. He just didn't give him a shot. And I kind of think that sucks. Yeah. It's a bold prediction. Okay. Oh, your revenge tour wants to know how excited you are. At Nike, did your son commit to the staff or the university? Yeah, see, and I think that's when it comes to the Hawkins kids, they committed to Oklahoma.
Yeah. No, he
Mike, same with you.
Same with,
yeah, I think he's asking.
Different for us, though. Yeah, it was different for us. Obviously Oklahoma is a big brand, right? It's a big institution, right? With a lot of history and a lot of winning. So there was a little bit of aspect of committing to Oklahoma, you know what I mean? But it's the coaches. I would probably say a majority of it is the coaches, right? And I feel like, you know, it's a little bit of both. He committed to the university and to the coaches, because I mean, like, and I always tell my son this, so like, hey, dude, Oklahoma doesn't need you, right? Like I've always said that to him. They'll move on. You need Oklahoma, so dedicate yourself to it in your coaching staff, and don't leave any doubt. You know what I mean? Just make sure you're doing everything that you got to do, and you know, to make sure that. I mean, like you're seeing it with the government right now. Like, make sure like they're getting their money's worth, right? Because we're there's a lot of money that we're doling out, that we're not getting, you know, getting a return on investment.
Right. Yeah.
They're
Well,
investing. They're investing in you, so
you got
make
it.
sure they're getting a return on investment.
Facts. And you know,
And
that's one of the things that Saban's talked about is building value for yourself, right?
yeah, yeah. Like you can't like if they tell you to be somewhere, you say what time. You know what I mean? Don't roll your eyes, don't bitch and moan. If you gotta go to a meeting, or you gotta go to a presentation, or you gotta go listen to somebody, or you got your micro internships, just do it.
Yeah.
It's life is so much easier if you just do it instead of bitching and moaning and
Top of
rolling
that,
your eyes.
I mean, shit, we're talking about it's not like they're they're making them do stuff that sucks all the time.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? I mean, you've got it pretty much made if you're at a
There
place
is,
like
but
this.
there is some aspect of that that's going around, and I just don't want that
Sure.
to infiltrate,
Well, I
you
mean,
know.
kids these days are different, man, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
oh, I know,
you complain.
and I recognize that, and that's why I continue to let them know, man. Like, you know, if you see your buddies doing that, like, grab them by the neck and say, "Hey, bro, that's not what we're doing." You know what I mean? And tell them, because I am like a senior NCO, 100% am. But there was somebody asked me, yeah, man, I'm super excited for the season, bro. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to freaking spring game just to get a little taste. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Football
If
season
they
is the
have a
best.
spring game, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we're having a spring
I
game,
think they're
dude.
gonna have a spring game of some
Yeah,
kind, but it's just
yeah,
look, and I'll just say, yeah, look, I agree with you, Nelio, and you're not wrong. Your folks everybody went to OU except for you, didn't they? Everybody in the family? Pretty sure that's a fact. First game of the season will tell us a lot because they didn't look that good against Temple, and it showed all season. The offense sputtered, but they still put 50 on them. But they didn't look great. I agree. And listen, man. Again, that shows you and I think that was a mix of whatever got in Jackson's head got there quick. He was pissing down his leg, man. He was scared to
yeah.
death. Even in that game, he was always happy feet, happy feet, happy feet. We talked about it a lot early in the season last year that he had happy feet. He wasn't getting flushed. He was just leaving the pocket, and it didn't get better. And you know, listen, you can call that what you can say, whatever. I think that there was times that he looked a little better towards the end of the year. Those times were not against LSU. Those times were not against well, really Ole Miss even. Certainly not against Mizzou. I think he's got a long road ahead of him. I really do. Because something's up there.
Holy shit.
That's not what, but somebody just said something. Hold on real quick. Somebody said something in there about Hawkins not getting to play in 26. We're assuming that this kid is not going to be good enough by 26
Hey,
to start here.
OU just hired a general manager,
Who?
Jim Nagy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good shit. I like it.
Wow. Wow.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Executive director of Reese's Senior Bowl, 18-year NFL scout, 6-time Super
Hey,
Bowl participant,
dude,
4-time
that's
champ,
fuck.
Michigan alum.
That's pretty awesome, man.
But I mean, we were just talking. Somebody was just asking about that last night, right?
We talked about it last night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I mean, you know, obviously Curtis, he finished his job, but he didn't just leave in the middle of, you know, contract time.
Yeah.
He made sure they got what they needed to get done. Locked the class down.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's a dude that knows what's up right there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
quite a bit. Yeah, Jim Nagy. He's that guy. That's a nice hire.
Yeah, that's Oklahoma football Twitter posted it. So
it's badass, man.
You guys want to see it?
Shout out to the OU for that one. Good move. Hey, there's one for the people that are pissy about Joe C. That was a fucking huge move. You know what I mean? That's a huge move.
So you know what's crazy is I just saw the general manager at North Carolina is getting $1.5 million to do that job. I wonder what this is. Wonder what this dude's commanding.
I don't know. Yeah, because like at North Carolina, Bill Belichick's their damn general manager. That's how he rolls, bro. You know what I mean?
I was unaware of how much money North Carolina had.
The Jordan brand, bro.
I don't know. They got
really think about this. There's only handful of programs in any sport in the country that's more recognizable than North Carolina. If you think about
it. Man, that's wild.
It's a real brand, bro. It's a real brand.
Yeah, for sure.
It transcends the fact that they've been shitty at football.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't know that there was that much money going on for football. I get it for basketball. Don't get me wrong. That makes perfect sense. But, shit, I've seen some of these NIL things that they're
Yeah, they can afford it. They can afford it. They can definitely afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not familiar with Nagy. Yeah, he's Go through that one more time. His little resume there. That's fucking badass.
All right, so I'm gonna read part of the article. So since 2018, Nagy has served as the executive director of the Senior Bowl, the nation's most prestigious college all-star game that showcases draft-eligible college football players, where he has been responsible for the identification, evaluation, recruitment, and selection of top NFL prospects to be invited to the game.
Yeah.
Let's go past. He's in his role, he's cultivated relationships across college football, the Asian community, and all 32 NFL front offices. In the past 5 game cycles, the Senior Bowl has produced more than 100 drafted players each year, representing more than 40% of those NFL draft classes. Last year, the Senior Bowl had 110 total selections, including 45 of the top 100 players and 10 first-round picks. For 2 decades prior to this position, Nagy served in various scouting capacities with the Seahawks, Chiefs, Patriots, Washington football team, aka the Commanders. During his 18, they actually put Washington Redskins in the article. They almost caught me slipping. During his 18 years in the NFL front offices, his teams played in 6 Super Bowls and won 4 Lombardi trophies. Graduate of Michigan.
The old Washington racial slurs.
Yep. That's funny. That's hilarious. Yeah. Nagy will lead OU's management and talent acquisition, including player recruitment, evaluation, retention, and compensation as a part of his duties. He will also manage the impact of rules governing name, image, and likeness, the transfer portal process, revenue share allocation, scholarship limits, and eligibility requirements. The new model is intended to meet the emerging challenges of college football and mirrors many aspects of professional sports teams. It allows the general manager and head football coach to work side by side in partnership, each focusing on specific areas of expertise. Yeah.
What's up there, Rawhide? Yeah, it's a big ass brand. Yeah, you're right too, Neilio. I think well thought out with Michael Lombardi. Michael Lombardi's been one of the better guys in the league, anyways, doing that kind of stuff for a while now. He's real good. Yeah, I like it, man. I look, gotta say, I feel like Carolina didn't hurt themselves there. You know what I mean? I think they would have done a good job if they would have hired what's his name from John Summerall too at Tulane. I think that would have been a good hire too, but I don't think that you could pass up on Bill Belichick if you can get him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is what it
Yeah.
is. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think that's a big move. I think it's a big move to get a guy like that. And look, here's the one thing we know: the recruiting part has not been not been a problem. I think it's going to get hard if they don't get better offensively on that side. They need to have a year. They need to have a year on offense, and I think they're gonna. But you're looking at it. I mean, they're still attracting quarterbacks, folks. They're still attracting quarterbacks. They're still attracting receivers. Look at these, and this is with everybody swearing up and down that he's on a boiling hot seat. I don't think it's that hot. I think he gets another year unless it's just a complete shit show. And if it's worse than this past year, I don't really know what to say. I don't really know how it could be. But we'll see. You got to do it, but yeah, I don't know, man. I think they're moving in the right direction. And again, I find it weird that they brought him on at Tennessee. I really do find it weird that Littrell brought on at Tennessee. Except that they're buddies. I understand that part, but it does push it. Is it going to be a Michigan plant? I don't know, man. A Michigan plant. He is a Michigan man. The Washington State quarterback transfers this season probably going to O'Neal next. Yeah, things are pretty darn solid at QB. Yeah. Well, and even I mean, I don't know that they're not going to go after the other. What's the other kid's name that they're going? The Bo. What's his name? The other quarterback.
Bentley.
Bo Bentley. Yeah, he looks pretty good too. And it doesn't seem like either one of them is afraid of competition with the other.
I don't think Bentley will fine, bro. He's got too many other big dogs coming in after him.
You don't. Well, yeah, they don't generally do that. Where they both, 2 5-stars are signing in the same joint. Yeah. Won't really happen. Or high 4s or 5s. We'll see.
Yeah.
But and I think that Jaden O'Neal has been, it feels to me like he's been stuck. Yes, I want to be there. You know what I mean? And he moved to Oklahoma to play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's uphill from here. I think it's going to be good. I think they're going to be good. Dude, what game last year were we out of it? One against Texas. All the other games are winnable. After the first quarter, yeah, it ended up getting out of hand. Think about this, though. They had that fumble that if Danny, he didn't see the kid coming behind him to get that. If he ends up getting that fumble, that changes the complexion of that game. There was a couple of different times that game could have went the other way. They only gave up 16 damn yards in the first quarter. 16. Just having offense that game, and shit, for as much as they were on the field, they only got 34 points. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, they should have put 50 on them. Out of the SC game, quick. After that initial onslaught of shit, Sooner in Texas, they actually outplayed them offensively. But not that that's saying a whole lot. But yeah, man, it was what it was. It was just a bad. Anyway, it can't be worse. I just don't see how that could happen. I really don't. If it does, changes will be made. That's for sure. I really believe that, I think that they win 8 games. I think he's damn sure good. I think if they win 7 games or 6, he's probably good. If they win 5 or less, yeah, you're probably gone. But I can tell you, I don't think that they have any inkling that they want to pay $100 million to this coaching staff to not be here. Not when they recruit the way they do. But I think it'll make it worse if your offense isn't better. It's going to make it harder to recruit. It's important. That's important. They're going to get there defensively no matter what. I believe, and I think that, I don't know, man. I have a hard time believing that Oklahoma's not going to figure it out on offense. I grew up on, I don't remember them being shitty at offense, except for that small part of the 90s. That was a rough decade. Aside from that, they're always good. Yeah.
Neilio, what do you think about Nebraska and Tennessee canceling their series? Heard some rumblings about Nebraska K-State.
Really?
Yeah.
That they're gonna cancel?
Yeah, well, they already did. They had a
No,
little
Nebraska
series.
K-State.
No, that's what Nebraska. I've heard a lot of people saying that should be what they schedule. Get that little rivalry going back. K-State, Nebraska.
Okay, I can see that. So, like, and going back and thinking about that, so it was I'd forgotten how really crazy the CU Nebraska rivalry is.
Black Friday.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah. And then Black Friday, yeah. And then well, but yeah, K-State CU was kind of like that too though.
Yeah.
CU used to be damn good. They used
CU
to
was
be
real deal, bro.
They were fucking real.
Yeah. They had it going, man. They were they had some dudes, man. I mean, everybody kind of laughs at Eric Bieniemy right now, but Eric Bieniemy back in the day was that guy.
Bro,
Like,
I remember him. You know why he didn't win the Heisman that year? Rocket Ismail. That's the only reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eric Bieniemy was a bad dude, bro. I remember that guy. Shit. Oh yeah, we fucking hate C. He says.
Hey, I'll tell you, if you don't think Nebraska K-State was a rivalry, so
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever seen this picture.
It's Nebraska, Kansas, Kansas State. They all fucking hate each other up there. Always at Mizzou. Mizzou's got a thing against the Kansas schools too.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, for sure. So there's a picture back in the day of Eric Crouch getting his face mask and it gets ripped. And it's like head is like backwards. And they didn't call face mask on it, and it cost Nebraska. So there's always been a hate because of that play. But I mean, there was some good competitive games there, especially when I was coming out of high
Crouch
school.
was a bad dude, bro. He was a bad dude. I mean, Oklahoma didn't like Nebraska either, but it's turned into more of a respect. We don't play them enough for it to be a real rivalry anymore. There's a lot of respect there, though. I think there always kind of has been.
Yeah.
Because with Coach Osborne and those guys, and they were fucking good, man. Some of the best players I ever saw played at Nebraska back in the day,
Yeah.
Lawrence Phillips was
he's a freak, dude.
God, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he was pretty good.
There was some badass dudes that played in Nebraska, bro.
Yeah.
El Trent was a bad motherfucker at Nebraska. I couldn't believe that he left that job, the AD job for A&M.
Yep. Yep.
Is his name Mud right now?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I think they were pissed off, but I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know. I didn't really see much blowback, to be honest with you.
It surprised me. I mean, dude, you are Nebraska. Although I can kind of understand it. I can definitely understand. It's a tough thing to go back to where, and if you don't come through, then now it's just like we're talking, I was just talking about that earlier about the DeMarco stuff. And when they were talking about, somebody on Twitter said something about, well, if DeMarco takes that job at Penn State, we got to go get AD. And I was like, no, don't do that. I'll lose my shit. People talking shit about Adrian Peterson, bro. Come on. No. It'll ruin me for fucking Twitter, bro. Ruin me. I'll lose my mind.
Yeah, but that'd be. I would like to see the Oklahoma-Nebraska rivalry come back.
Me too. Me too.
You know, maybe not every year, but like maybe every other year or something like that. Like I'd love to see it, man.
Well, if we're doing some kind of a schedule agreement with the fucking Big Ten, you might as well make it.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. For sure. Like that's
and if you're going to end up in super conferences, we were talking about this last night. I mean, what would be the number? Okay, I think it needs to be 70. It needs to be half, at least, of what we're talking about, which is all of the Power 14, all of the Power 4 conferences.
69, I think, was the number.
That's the number that Coach said. Yes, you're right. You're correct. I stand corrected, sir.
Yeah. But yeah, that would be a good. It'd be a good. It'd be a good thing. Nebraska, Oklahoma coming back.
We'd love it. I don't think that anybody in Norman would be against that.
No, not at all, man. I mean, look at the last time they played it, man. That was legit, like legit.
Yeah, it was a fun game. Adrian Martinez was going off.
Yeah. It was big time stuff, man.
No, the last time Casey was the quarterback there, we busted their ass. It's 2 years ago. Year 1 for BV. Time before that.
Yeah.
Casey. Or was Adrian Martinez.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would love it. I missed when Colorado was a good team. They won the Natty back. Shit, man. They were good, bro. They were good. I remember those teams. Playing Notre Dame and those guys when they were.
Y'all don't remember Rashawn Salam.
Rashawn Salam was a bad dude, bro. He was a bad dude.
Yeah.
Heisman winner. I mean, come on, man. To win it at Colorado, it's not something that happened very often, right? Just didn't. Who's the guy in from the former Big 12, the old Big 8, that you think got fucked on the Heisman, really?
Big 8?
Yeah, or Big 8, Big 12 days, whatever, but certainly back in the Big 8 days. The Big 12's young. I mean, we were graduating whenever the Big 12 started.
You know, I always thought that running back from Iowa State never got enough pub. What was his name, man?
Oh, dude, hold on. It's right on the tip of my tongue, too. They just suck too much, man. They were so bad.
Like that dude. That dude used to go off, man.
Fucking bad.
Smith, was it Troy something? Troy Davis. Yeah. There you go, Neil.
I knew.
Look,
throw it up there.
I think Jamel Holloway too, man. Jamel Holloway was really good.
Bro, I was 5. No, I was 9. That was when I really got into Oklahoma football with my pops, man. That's when we started. Because, I could understand the game a little more and stuff. I was playing it outside and doing a lot of that. So it was I loved me some Jamel Holloway, bro. He was that dude. Jamel was that guy, man. He was awesome.
I mean, Bieniemy didn't win the Heisman, did he?
AD should have won the fucking. No, he didn't.
Yeah, I don't think Bieniemy won the Heisman.
He lost it to Rocket. I'm telling you, he lost it to Rocket.
Yeah, you said that earlier, dummy.
He lost it to Rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing about Holloway that year, the next year he could have won it though, because they lost one game the next year.
Yeah,
1 or 2. It won, but I mean, but he didn't that year. Yeah, they came in and he lit it up as a freshman. But Troy played in for the first 5 games, wasn't it? 4 or 5 games anyway. Before he got hurt, against Texas, right? Or no, Miami or Texas. One of the Texas, right? Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Adrian Peterson got.
Hey, I'll tell you another one.
Absolutely, that was one of them, bro. Yes.
I'll tell you another one who probably should have won it that didn't was he's now the offensive coordinator at Texas A&M.
Klein?
Yeah, dude. They do put up numbers now. They do put up numbers,
bro. I don't know about the Heisman.
I don't remember who he lost. I think he lost to Manziel.
Yeah, he did.
He did, yeah.
Johnny Football had a fucking year, man. Johnny Football had him a year.
Yeah.
Johnny Football had him a year.
Klein had numbers, man. He was balling. He was good.
Yeah. The game was in Norman. I was there. Yeah.
What else too?
Troy broke his leg at Miami or in Norman? Shit, I don't even remember that, man. It seems like I remember the most thing I remember about that season. I remember them talking about him being hurt. But I remember loving Jamel Holloway immediately because that cat was getting in the fucking end zone.
Yeah.
Gone. Played with no fear. And I tell you another one. I mean, Keith. Keith was a bad dude, man. Keith Jackson. Whew.
Yeah.
Bro. Bro. Love that shit, man. Norman against Miami. Okay. Well, I knew it was one of those two. Yeah. Like I said, I wasn't even 10 yet, but I remember the season. I remember the rest of it, and then the Boz was another one. But shit, they were loaded on. Their defense was as good as that offense was. Oh, they were loaded everywhere. Tony Casillas, Boz. Shit, Legend will tell your ass there. Legend will name them off, all of them. He had that one. What's his name? This one of the safeties that was on his show with him. He lives around Lubbock now, but he went to Oklahoma. He was a badass too. Auburn friends are in disbelief we hired Jim Nagy. Why? They don't believe the hire? They don't believe it? Wow.
I better believe it.
He broke the single game passing record versus Miami, his last game in Norman in the first half. Holy shit. That must not have been very high then. It wasn't very much. Well, and it wasn't, man. They were running the fucking wishbone. They had only done that with bringing Aikman because he was trying to go to a more modern offense. I do remember knowing that. But I don't think it bothered him that he had to go back to the wishbone. Casillas, Stephen Bryan, Darrell Reed, Boz. Miliazzo was a badass. Dante Jones, Ricky Dixon. Ricky Dixon is Derek White is who he had on. Derek White is who he had on the show that time. That had some cool ass stories, man. He had some cool ass stories. He was like, man, we weren't losing to Texas's ass. It wasn't fucking happening. It's fuck all that shit. There's not a lot of, but I tell you what, there's not a lot of dudes on either side of the rivalry that have won them all every time they did it. I know you can, bro. I know you can. I go all morning, he says. Ricky Dixon. Yeah. Bro, Miliazzo was a badass too, man. Dante Jones. Golly, those guys were good. They were good. Kind of like this upcoming year, we're loaded. Yeah, hey, talk to me about this defense. We've been talking a lot about the offense because it matters, but what do you see? What do you see this? I mean, do you see them having a hiccup at all? That having to adjust without Stutz? I don't know that we've talked a lot about that. I believe in Kip Lewis a lot. And I think Kobe's come around a lot too. I love Sammy O. What do you think? How do you think they start off, though? And what do you see from this defense?
Well, I think that they'll start off fast. The real test is going to be that week 2 game, Michigan. But I think we could be good, man. I think, and when I say good, like I'm not trying to like I said, I'm not trying to pump, but I think our front four, we should be getting after the football and we should be getting after the quarterback, which is going to help our defensive backfield, right? Because I get the sense that people are kind of looking at our corners as the
Got
weak
one
link.
right there. You've already had
Um,
that comment once
oh,
since we
do we?
Yep.
Yes, yeah, there, yeah. So obviously we got Eli. Um,
Team had 8 All-American wide receivers.
yeah,
Pass the ball 8 times a game.
yeah, and the other side. We got Jacoby Johnson. We got some second year cats. I really like Jeremiah Newcomb.
I do
The
too.
other kid is uh, damn, I can't remember his name right now.
Well, Hawkins, I mean, they may have another good freshman
Well,
in him,
I'm
right?
trying to get to the freshman, but I can't remember this 2024 corner that played a little bit. He's tall and lengthy. Looked real good.
Shit.
Play got some snaps this
Yeah.
year.
I'm trying to remember his name too. It's just bouncing on.
I can't think.
The hope is that finally we get some Gentry Williams in our
But,
life.
so that's my next guy that I'm going to is but it really depends on Gentry and if he's healthy and can stay healthy. Because if he can stay healthy,
It's not
you
Kanai.
know, we,
It's not Kanai. No.
no, it's not Kanai, man.
He's
He's a,
gone.
he was a freshman last year.
Yeah.
He was a freshman last year.
Would have been
Man. But if Kanai, if man, we're gonna be pretty good, man. Like I don't want to say like Walker. I think it's Walker.
Kanai Walker?
No, not Kanai Walker. Shit, I'm
Oh, the
tripping.
other Walker kid. It's I know who you're talking about. I'm gonna find it now.
Um, but yeah, I think they'll be good, man. This defense is going to be. I think it's going to be really fast. It's going to be really fast and violent. We're going to have some dudes screaming off the edges. You know what I mean? Like we're going to have some dudes screaming off the edges. In the middle of that D line, we're going to be stout, man. Um, Dominic Williams,
Devon
man,
Jordan was one of them that
that's
we were.
it. On
Yeah,
Jordan,
Devon
that's the
Jordan.
one. Yep, Jordan. Um,
He's a bad dude too.
Yeah, Jordan, that's the one.
Mhm.
But interior, I mean, we're loaded up front on the D line, man. We got 5 stars we got a 5-star on the edge that
Hasn't realized his
we're waiting for him to arrive. You know what I mean? And we got kids coming off the edge. We got Okoye's. We got R. Mason on the other side. I
hey,
mean,
and I mean that's what I was saying. We were saying this last week. What if Marvin Jones ends up being gravy
and
for us? And he
And if
might be.
Marvin Jones is that guy, come on, man. Like this, the ball's gonna have to get out. That's all I'm saying. And if you can rush the passer with 4 and make him speed up, that's less time we got to cover, and we can disguise and trap and bait the quarterback into making bad throws.
That's right.
And
Nobody does it better than Brent Venables
we
does.
can predict where he's got to throw the ball because of he doesn't have time to sit back there and burp the baby. You know what I mean? So this defense could be every bit of what it was last year. And I don't even think we really got to see what our defense really could have been last year due to our offensive struggles and our defense being out on the field
So
you
much.
know, way more than they needed to be. And
I think to
you
some
out there,
extent, though,
you're
that
out there
might be
playing defense.
another good thing though too, is that they got a lot more work than they might have otherwise.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're out there that much, man, you're gonna get hit up every once in a while. You know what I mean? You're not gonna just completely shut everybody down. Not the way offenses are today, man. Offenses are too good. They got too many ways to beat you. But yeah, man, we got some dudes, and our linebacker core.
I like it.
They're
I tell you what, too, if Kendall
I'll make
Dovey
you
is
laugh
what he
with
is
Eagle.
Kendall Dovey is anything like what he was last year, oh,
I'm anxious to see what happens. What what happens with Samuel? Like, does he get moved inside or what?
Is he going to
And
be in the
Kendall
cheat area?
Daniels,
I mean,
I'm anxious to see, how he fits. I look it's looking like Cheetah for him,
or is
which
it
is I
Reggie
think
that's going to be more of a cheetah?
what's that?
Or is it Reggie that's going to be the more of the cheetah guy?
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm
And I
excited about him too. Him and Mike. I'm
yeah.
excited about both of those guys.
Oh yeah, dude, they're gonna be good. And I'm telling you, man, Jaden Hardy's every bit of as good as either one of them. That kid's smart, man. He
I
knows
like
what's
Jaden
going
too,
on
man. Oh,
because
he looked really good when he got in there too, man.
he's a good player, man. He's just got to get reps and experience, just like all of them. But I think this year is going to be a good year. Inside linebackers, I want to see who's going to be. I want to see who's going to be our backup inside, right behind Kip and Kobe. Like I'm really interested in that because I think it's going to go back to Kanik moving to offense. Like I'm anxious to see how they feel that.
At a time when you didn't fill any spots and you lost more guys, it surprises me that they went through with that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes. But I'm interested on. I think the Oklahoma State transfer is going to be.
Kendall Daniels,
Yeah,
fuck.
he's gonna be crucial.
Oh.
He's gonna be crucial, man. And
Bro,
it's
here's
just
the thing. I
it.
think that he struggled at linebacker last year because he didn't know it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah. Sure,
he knows
for
how to
sure.
get in the backfield, but man, I like Kendall. I think he's got an opportunity. Another guy that sky's the limit for him a little bit, you know? But I think we have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to safeties.
Well, Daniel Tulsa, like third and longs got us killed is because the quarterback was sitting back there in the pocket. You know what I mean? Like any decent quarterback's going to beat you if he can sit back there and survey the field and look for a guy open. You know. Yeah, I like Nesta too. I like Nesta. Um,
I do too, actually. Yeah.
well, I don't know. I don't know about starter Neilio. I think he's competing for it. Um, I think there's two different safety positions. Obviously, you got free and the strong, right? So the strong is what Billy played, right? Billy was always going to the multiple receiver side of the field and covering, and
Right.
that free in the back is where Mike is, and that's him and RSJ are there, and I just don't think that you know.
RSJ had a year last year too.
Yeah, he's a good hell of a player, man. RSJ's a hell of a player. He's got experience, and he's a little bit more mature. And
But you also see them doing a lot of the 4-2-5 stuff anyway. So
I mean,
I think they're kind of positionless back there, aren't
yeah.
they?
Well, I don't know about positionless. I mean, I feel like they have their safeties that they want to cover, that
Sure.
they would prefer to have somebody covering man up.
Yeah. Like
Um,
Peyton.
I think that's your Peyton Bowen. I think that's
Peyton's a
your
bad dude
Hardy.
too, man. Let's not forget about Peyton now.
That's your those are your cover safeties right there. And I think Reggie could be that as well.
Yeah.
And Mike's working to get there. I don't think he's there. But he does, he can cover now.
Instincts are real, man. His
But like
instincts
I
are real.
don't these dudes, these receivers and these slots and everybody that he's lining up, man, these dudes are world class, man. They're fast. And it's hard for anybody to cover them. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
like getting his feet underneath him and loosening those hips and working on that back pedal, like
There's
he's
one thing that I would say though about that though is that Mike's going to do something to people that, man, you're going to have to think about it before you go across the middle with him there.
well, and that's why they want him back there free. And I think Roman, and if they wanted him to man up on somebody, they want him to man up on the tight end because he's bigger, more physical, and I just feel like that's the matchup they would prefer him in.
Right.
With that. But yeah, I mean, Mike's gonna hit. He's always been a hitter. Um, I think this year is a year of confidence building with a lot of those young safeties. I mean, they have confidence. Don't get me wrong, but like with getting more reps and more playing time and bigger games is like another level of confidence, right? Because they wouldn't be where they're at if they weren't confident that they could do it, right? They
Sure.
all have that confidence that they can do it. They just got to know that they can do it. If you understand what I'm saying,
I do.
right? There's a difference between like, yeah, I can play
You got to
here,
do it. You got to go
and
do
then
it.
like,
Yeah.
I know I could really play here. Like I've done it. And then once you get to that, like I'm good, and then you're a little bit more loose, and you know your butthole's not frog tight, water tight. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're a little bit more relaxed, and you know it's just that goes for a lot of the young cats, man. Especially in that backfield, man. That defense backfield, it's hard. It's hard back there, man. They do a lot of shit to try to trick you and get your eyes, where they're not supposed to
Sure.
be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Run the guy back behind you and run a guy up underneath you. It's just difficult, man. You got to prepare. You got to study. You got to anticipate, and it's just a lot, man. It's a lot for a young kid coming from high school.
Yeah.
And I can sit there and tell them like, dude, we got to watch this film. We got to do, we used to do it a little bit in high school, but like he didn't know what he didn't know about college football, right? And I'm not saying it's the same when
Who
I played.
knows?
I know I knew when I got from high school to college football, I was like, oh shit, this is different. You know what I mean? And I was trying to get them mentally prepared for that. Like, listen, man, it's gonna be about football. And they can't do as much as we did back in the day because of rules now, but like, yeah, man, like he's got to get used to it, right? He's got to get used to being uncomfortable, and you can never get comfortable, man, or you got a young cat like Amari Robinson or Marcus Wimble that's going to come up and get your spot.
Yeah, I was going to say Marcus Wimberly. That's the other guy. Amarian. Yeah, no, both of them. You've got. That's what I'm saying. It's an embarrassment of riches in that position group, and I think that what we haven't seen. The concern is with the corners, but that's only because we haven't seen it yet, right? We just haven't seen. We've seen Peyton. Eli be real sticky, and he looks like he's a freshman All-American for a reason. We've seen Gentry do it. But you got to look, Bobby Newcomb's son, Jeremiah, he looks like he's going to be really good. We know that Malik was shut down.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he's been up against some of the best receivers in Texas for, the last 3-4 years.
Guillory kid looks good too.
Who's that?
Cortland Guillory.
Guillory. Yep.
He looks good, man.
Oh shit! Right.
He looks good.
And I still think Jacoby.
He's big, man. He's a big kid.
I think Jacoby's gonna probably take a step forward if he's healthy. Yeah. And he has been healthy, so I hated seeing Makari go. He's doing well at CU right now. From everything I've seen over there, Makari's done. He's impressing them there at Colorado, which I'm good. I'm glad for him. I really am. Josiah Wagner, if it hadn't been for injuries, he probably wouldn't be at Cal either because they loved him. You know what I mean? But
I feel like this is just me. I feel like he got recruited over.
He did.
To be honest with you, that's kind of what I feel.
Just kind of a size thing with him, right? More than
he wasn't very.
Well, and that's how many times I've said this a lot about this staff, particularly defensively. They're recruiting. The floor here is different.
Yep.
We know they all got big ceilings, but the floor here, it starts different on this defensive side than we've seen in a really long time.
Yeah.
A really long time. And I think that's throughout the defense. When you start thinking about that, they knew that Deshaun was kind of out of place in this defense. Love Deshaun McCullough. I hope he goes and has a fucking killer year.
Yeah.
I really do. But even there's another freshman All-American, and they didn't. They had to kind of cut ties there, right? Yeah, Dobie will be back. It sounds like he's doing well in his recovery. Everything I've been hearing.
Yeah.
I hope it continues that way. Kendall Dobie is a dude. That guy's different, man. He's different.
Yeah. Yeah, Neilio, they K-State, they were they were pretty much they wanted Mike as a Sam. There was very little small conversation at safety.
Really, at K-State?
Yeah, they wanted. I liked Mike at the Sam linebacker. I feel like there's a good. There's some covering. It's similar to. I'm not gonna say it's like the cheetah, but there's similar aspect of playing on the edge and covering and stuff like
Well,
that.
his
But
size would allow him to do that, though,
yeah,
right?
I liked it. I liked the Sam position at K State, the linebacker. It's a good position, man. There's a lot of plays to be made at that position. I really liked it.
No doubt.
Um,
Do you think that
really,
he ends up sticking with free safety here, or do you think that is there a chance that he moves to linebacker here?
I don't know. I think for right now he's a safety. I don't know. I'm not sure. Nobody's had in those conversations with me, but I mean, I don't know if they would or whatever. But
Yeah.
they don't
Well,
need
I
to.
mean, it feels like well,
Not like
he's in
they have to have those conversations with me, dude. Like who am I to? No, I don't think you should move him to linebacker. Like if you want to move him to linebacker, and you think if you're gonna do it now. You know what I mean? That's how if I don't wait till like you know
yeah, yeah,
senior
yeah.
year or whatever. Like if you're gonna do it,
Senior year, whatever. Yeah.
yeah, if you're gonna do it now. But I mean, yeah, they don't have to. It's Brent Venables, man. It's Brent Venables. Like,
Facts.
yeah, I'm not. I'm nowhere near that level, bro. I'm nowhere near any level of a college coach. If you tell me that you think Mike is best suited here, okay, okay, I have to trust your judgment.
Yeah, I think you would have probably heard more of that though at this point, because it
Yeah,
seems like they're ready for him to play a lot at. I feel like he's going to be on the field a lot more.
yeah, I hope so. Mike can cover some ground now. Like
Yeah,
he can
dude.
cover
I
ground.
was
He
watching
gets
his film. I was watching his high school film. Good lord.
yeah. Yeah, he can get after it, dude. Like, and I think they like that aspect of it. I don't.
What's up,
I
Bishop
don't
Frank?
know. This is what I feel.
Yeah, he's a baller, dude. I can't wait. I can't wait. What's up, Bishop Frank? Thanks for coming in, man. No, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. But I just wanted. I mean, yeah, I was kind of wanting to feel you out where you felt. You think they're going to have growing pains as they get into the SEC season,
I
maybe a
think
little bit.
there's a leadership void that needs to get filled.
Yeah,
With losing those big pieces on all three levels. We've talked about it before. I mean, there's some big shoes to fill, and I'm anxious to see how that plays out.
definitely big shoes to fill. But I think
Yeah.
Kip should be up for it.
Yeah, Kip's got a lot of energy, man. He's outspoken anyway, man. He's just got to worry about what I see him from him on the sideline is getting too high and getting too low. You know what I mean? Like football is a game of emotions, and you're always going to have emotions, but you can't
Or
let
try
it.
to keep it pretty even no matter
Yeah,
what.
yeah, it can't. It's just you got to be able to manage it. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying he doesn't do a good job of managing it or whatever, but I just I'd rather because people feed off that, right? Like other players see it, and you know what I mean. And if Kip's down and out, oh shit, maybe I should be. You know what I mean? Like you just gotta watch how the vibe you're putting off.
Yeah. Hey, quit recruiting him already for fuck's sake. Neilio,
Yeah,
knock
I
it
know.
off.
A lot of people was gave him what they call Arthur Brown. They had a nickname for him. I can't remember.
Knock off
But
that fucking K-State recruiting already.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot Jaden Rowe went to K State.
He did, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good for him, man.
a
Good for
big kid, man. I hope he does well.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Jaden can play. Jaden can
Yeah.
play. Has Kip put on some weight?
But you look kind of swole the other day in that picture.
Yeah,
You look pretty
I thought he
swole.
put on something even last year comparatively to what he was the year before. When people talk about that weight shit all the time, dude, he carries his weight. He's fine.
Well, that shit matters in the trenches, man. You got to have a little bit of
It
weight,
does.
but you got to absorb those big ass offensive linemen.
No doubt.
You know,
No doubt.
got to have some weight in there. As long as it doesn't slow them down.
Yep.
As long as it doesn't slow them down.
Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The new Crimson Missile.
No.
I can't. Hey, listen. I'm excited. I haven't been this pumped up about a defense in Norman in a long time, man.
Yeah.
A long time.
Yeah.
You'd have one or two guys and shit like that, right? Yeah, Eric Stryker. Yeah, dude, Eric Stryker was fun. But you'd have a couple of guys, right? But not like every level of this defense has dudes that you're like, son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, whoa. You got it back on there, Coach Ricks? Good deal. That's good.
Crazy.
Yeah, damn. It's been off since last night whenever he was on with us.
What caused it to go out? They say the
So
weather.
went out. Yeah. No, I get it, Daniel. I get what you're saying. He does a lot of, but he makes plays a lot of ways. I still think. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's a real good emotional leader. Now, is he? Danny was also a monster. You know what I mean? Danny was a monster.
Yeah, speaking of Danny and that, man, that combine stuff should be starting
Right.
up there.
Hey, CJ. Hello.
You busy?
Yeah, I'm on the show. It's all good, man. I'll hit you back here in a minute. All right, bye. The boy.
Yeah, we got to answer.
Yeah. Well, he called the second. I didn't answer the first one. When you call back right away, yeah, I got to answer.
Yeah.
Now I got to find out what's up.
For sure.
Nigel Smith, there's another one. I mean, look, you could talk about these guys all the way through it, man. I think Nigel's, he was my favorite 24 defensive recruit. I mean, just watching him go throughout the year. I just think he's going to be one of those dudes too. And I think he's one of those guys that's going to be able to do. I think he's going to split time. I know they want him at the 3, but I think that he can move along that line and kind of do work everywhere. He's a big boy. He's a big boy, big athlete. Stud, man. Yep. I think the 24 class was highly underrated all the way around. I do.
Yeah.
Top to bottom. And I think Danny Acquay is liable to fucking just jump off the fucking map right away. Who's the starting front 7 going in? Woo! R. Basin.
Yeah, it'll be.
I think it's going to be Danny and I think David Stone. David Stone. Obviously Jaden Jackson. I think that they are both starting.
I think it's going to be Dominic Williams and Jaden Jackson.
It's not what I'm hearing, bro. But Dominic's a bad dude. I don't think that matters as much because I think they're all really good. They're going to rotate it like they did. Stoney was looking really good at the end of the year, man.
Yeah. No, he's going to be
God damn, he's a big kid. He's so big, dude. That picture that I was looking at, that picture of him that I put it on that short that I did the other day.
Yeah.
Where he's towering over the top of that in that Tulane game. He's just huge when you put him up next to somebody else.
Yeah.
Scary good.
Oh, yeah. So the combine. So tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow's defensive linemen, and linebackers. So
okay.
Danny will be going tomorrow, 3 to 8, and then Friday you got defensive backs and tight ends. So Danny
into the early third, man. At the worst, I think he should be. Don't you?
Danny and Ethan will be going tomorrow.
Yep.
And then you'll have Billy
on fucker, that Ethan dog. Dude is strong.
Yeah. Yep. And then you'll have Billy on Friday.
Dude. He showed out at the Senior Bowl.
Hey, Billy Ball. Billy's a baller, man.
He balled.
Yeah.
He balled.
Drunk driver.
All right, Greg. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming in.
That's terrible.
Yeah. That's 287. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to tell you what he told me on my show. His plans were never to get to 300 pounds. He thinks of himself as his thought was always to be that more, what's his name from the Browns? Come on.
Miles Garrett.
Yeah, Myles Garrett type. He doesn't. 300 pounds isn't really his thing. That was his idea of it, you know. And it sounded that was what Bates and them were talking about. They want them to be. He's always wanted to be versatile, to be able to move inside and out. He don't want to be a 300 pounder. So I don't really see. I think 287. He was talking about saying it around 275. So I don't really see him getting a ton bigger. But we'll see. Yeah, we definitely got to find playing time for Okoye. I think they're going to find. I don't think that's going to be that difficult. I think you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
Although, listen, with Marvin, do you feel like does it sound to you like he's kind of come on and he looks like he's going to be that cat already?
I have no idea. I hope so.
I know Dent was talking about it. He was saying that Isaiah was impressed with it.
Oh, really?
Said he thinks he might be getting coached up a little bit. Maybe he just needed to be coached up a little bit.
Yeah, that's very possible, man. Very possible. Yeah, I think I think we'll have a good, strong rotation. You know what I mean? Being able to get after some quarterbacks
on every down. Go at them. Yeah. Listen, man. I like if you don't have to do anything, but I mean, you think about the Super Bowl, man. They didn't rush more than 4, and they were in Pat's fucking grill all day.
Yeah,
that's what they're going for. So I'd love to see them get a little more pressure, like what you were talking about. I'm excited about them. I'm excited about this defense. I think talent-wise, they're as good as you've seen in Norman in a long time. I think they're going to develop in who's, they're the fact that they all kind of have to battle each other for these spots, man. Like we've just talked about all those safeties. Good God, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oof. What's up, Smoke? Playing time is earned. It better be. Damn sure better be. Yes, sir. Yep. Well, hey, man, we've been going for a little over 2 hours.
Yep.
I got some stuff to do. Man, we appreciate everybody coming in here. We're talking it up about some, it was fun talk. Again, don't take what we were talking about earlier about all that completely to heart. Now, I think it's fair to ask the question. And I mean, just telling you, all that stuff. I was surprised that I had that much stuff about Seth Littrell. And
yeah, I
was seeing some of that stuff coming around about on Twitter and shit like that yesterday, and I just thought, okay, well, let's just have this conversation. Especially last night when you were like, hey, man, I love a good conspiracy. So I was like, good, here we go.
Yeah.
Folks, we appreciate everybody coming in. It's been a good couple of days. Look, make sure you keep on sharing and hitting that like button for us. If you're watching this, and we've been getting a lot of views out of Twitter right now, that doesn't really help anything, but I don't know how many we got in that Rumble deal. That's the first time I've done it. So just trying to make sure that we're getting out there to more and more people. So share us, man. Share us with your friends, trying to get out from under this thing, from whatever the hell it is. Because it's just shit. It's a lot of work to not make anything out of it. So, you know what I mean? It'd be great if you hit that like button, share us with your friends, tell everybody, make sure they do the same. Appreciate it. Coach Smoot, when we get together, man, you gonna come on Friday? We're gonna do tight ends on Friday. Got the running backs. Get in there, make sure you vote for the running backs. Who you think are the best running backs in the country. I'll pop that in there. The links are in there. But I got a short video I got to finish up before I get out of here. But like I said, what else you got going on today there, big dog?
Man, not much. I'm gonna go probably take the dog for a walk. It's nice out. I get out here and do some yard work, man. Do a little landscaping. So go up there to give me some grub and then get after it.
Yeah, buddy. Is it still freezing ass or what?
No, dude, it's been really nice last 2 or 3 days this
Dude, it's
weekend.
gonna be 70 all weekend, man. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that's
pull out the
pretty
sticks.
nice.
I'm ready to pull out the sticks.
Yeah.
Winter rules, baby. Winter rules. Get out there and hit them around a little bit.
Yeah.
Probably just take like a 7-iron and a 9-iron out in the driver. Putter. That's it.
Bro, you ain't 10 cup, bro.
No, that's you work on your game like that, fool. He played to those spots. That's how you get better at golf. You played to those spots.
Yeah.
Sometimes not hitting the driver is the best thing to do.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. There was a hole at the Mexico State golf course. There was a dog leg. There was a dog leg like heading back toward the driver range. Like I don't know why I would always try to pull out my wood and I would always hit it through the fairway. Like it took me so long to just be able to like
That bastard in the fairway. Yeah.
just pull out this 6-iron or whatever and put it out there in the fairway and have a little wedge into the green.
Strategery. You need a little strategery in your life sometimes.
Yeah.
It humbles you when you don't. That's the one thing. I remember whenever I was actually right after I got out of the service, we were working with a pro, and we were gonna. In a couple of us, there was a couple of us guys. We were thinking about becoming like club pros and stuff like that, And so we were working with one to get ready to do the play. You have to qualify as a PGA pro, right? And he goes out with us for an on the course deal, and he's like, "You motherfuckers don't play golf for shit." He says, "You guys are idiots. The fuck you doing?" I'm out there with a wedge on 120 yards. Yeah, I can hit it 120. I mean, easy. But he's like, "Yeah, but you know what else you can do? You could hit a fucking like half 8-iron and it'll put it right on the pin. What are you doing? What the fuck?" He's like, "You guys, and you putt like shit." That's the problem with my kid. He putts like dog shit. But you learn how to play the game correctly. Like playing with those guys, that's when you know these dudes know what the fuck they're talking about, because when they're teachers, like, anybody can teach you how to hit the ball and all that, but he was teaching more advanced things like, come on, bro. This is what you need to be feathering these ones in, doing this, and, certain shots into certain greens. Not everybody teaches you that. So I liked it, man. It was cool, but he was rough on our asses. He's like, "You guys are fucking morons." Hit the ball like shit, putt like shit. Fucking teach you guys how to play. Fuck. Hilarious. Love it.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it, fellas. Hold them down. We'll check you all out on the next one.